Hi, teammates. This is Sean J. McCaw, and I am your host, as usual, for the Eurostep. And I'm really super excited to have my guest on. And I pray that I don't say her name wrong, even though I think I've been practicing. I think I got it. So, before we begin, though, please make sure you look at the bottom of your screen. You can throw a question in the comment section so everybody sees it, or you can click the question mark with the speech bubble, and only I see it, but I check it periodically to see what people have written, and I will try to get your question in during the live feed. And yeah, other than that, let's get started. I'm ready to go. So this is going to be a different kind of intro. Okay, I actually have to read something because I don't want to miss anything. So, yeah, Gesche Schünemann, I hope I said that right, is my guest for this episode, and I'm going to roll off a few of her accomplishments as a wheelchair hooper with the German national team. Listen. 2007 Gold European Championships. 2008 Silver Paralympic Games. 2009 Gold European Championships. 2010 Silver World Championships. 2011 Gold European Championships. 2012 Gold Olympic Games. 2013 Silver European Championships. 2014 Silver at the World Championships. 2015 Gold at the European Championships. And 2016 Silver at the Paralympic Games. Then we go to her awards. And these what I'm about to tell you are like the highest honors you can get in German sports. 2008 Team of the Year. 2008 also Silver Laurel Leaf. That's a really nice thing that they got from the president. 2012 also Team of the Year. 2012 also Silver Laurel Leaf. But there are also accomplishments as a team or club, in her club team. So 5 league championships and 1 Euro League Championship Cup. I hope I didn't leave anything out because that's a really long list. But we're going to get her in and first of all, see if I said her name right. Second of all, if I missed anything. So I'm going to add her to the chat right now. Where's she at? There she is. Minute. So, or did I not send it? Oh, please don't tell me it's not working. Wait, I send it again. I hope it doesn't do what it did with a guest a couple of weeks ago, that it doesn't add. Not dope. Not dope at all, Instagram. Okay. Oh wait, there we go. There we go. I hear it. There we go. We have contact. Hi. Okay, first of all, before we start, please tell me I said your name right. Yeah. On fire.
Perfect.
On fire already. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on my little show here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day or evening now and stopping through. How are you doing? Did I get all your accomplishments right? Didn't miss anything.
I think so, yeah.
So, okay, wait. The sound is a little bit weird. So, okay. So, yeah, we're going to get started. And just feel free to speak your piece. This is your show. So when I ask you a question or whatever, just speak your piece. Don't feel like you have a time limit or something like that. This should be more like a conversation than an actual interview, okay? Okay. So
Perfect.
Thank you for everybody who's just popping in. And we're going to start. So when I roll off all of those accomplishments that you've had in your career, how proud does that make you feel? I mean, those are some pretty heavy titles that you won.
That's true. I'm very proud of that. But at the end, it was just having fun and playing basketball, right? And yeah, we just had fun and got some achievements.
I don't know too many people that have the resume that you do. So, I mean, I'm incredibly thankful that you came on tonight because I think you can give a lot of information that some people might be able to use later. That's why I always invite people on. But when I was doing the research and I was like, okay, okay, she won that, okay, okay. That was it's really impressive. I really have to say that. As a former athlete myself, I know how hard you have to work to get even one of those titles you won. But come on.
I was lucky having good teammates, being at the right time at the right spot, and
Yeah.
yeah, just winning
Okay.
some
So,
medals.
so let's start at the beginning. Before you started playing wheelchair basketball, how did you come to basketball? Period.
Uh, I was a swimmer before, and when I was 15 years old, I thought doing some team sports, and I was living in Gießen and born in Gießen, and
Right.
yeah, that's a basketball tradition city, and I watched some BBL games, and I was fascinated and
Yeah.
fell in love
And
with the sport.
so, was there any special person that brought you to basketball, or was it just being in the atmosphere of Gießen and you said, okay, I think I want to try that?
I was just watched some BBI games with some friends and loved the game, and then I tried it out and fall in love, and
Yeah.
I stayed with it and
Basketball has a
played
way of you
basketball.
give
Yeah,
the finger and it takes your whole hand. So, um,
true,
so
true.
basically, you were an able-bodied, or you are an able-bodied player, and then you got injured, right? And that then changed your focus from um, walking basketball. I don't want to say normal basketball. What is the term we should use?
We say
Say what?
AB basketball.
Able-bodied basketball. Okay,
AB,
so
able-bodied
you're
basketball.
able-bodied basketball player. You're young. You're what, 17, and you tear your ACL, right? And
True.
so
Yeah.
at the time when you got injured, were you thinking that you were going to make a return to able-bodied basketball, or I mean, I'm sure wheelchair basketball wasn't your first thought, right?
No, it wasn't. But I know wheelchair basketball since a long time, since I started playing basketball, because my first coach was the team manager of the best team in Germany. So I'm connected with wheelchair basketball since I'm playing AB basketball. I was playing AB basketball. So yeah, it was for me. It didn't change anything, but I tried to go back to normal basketball, right, and playing after my rehab, but it didn't work out. So my knee injury was too bad. So I
How do
started a new
you
adventure.
process that as a young kid that obviously enjoys the game, and everybody wants to play, and then process, how did you process that moment where you decided, okay, I'm going to leave the able-bodied basketball and I'm going to step over to wheelchair? Was it a difficult transition for you?
It wasn't, because I watched wheelchair basketball since I'm watching basketball, and so it wasn't a difficult transformation for me, and to switch to wheelchair basketball. It was just having fun and meeting some new friends, and making friends for life, and
What was
having
the
fun with them together.
biggest challenge that you had at the beginning, going from able-bodied then to wheelchair basketball? Yeah,
To handle the beach,
I
for sure.
I've one time played wheelchair basketball for, I don't know, 10 minutes, and that was I was terrible. I was really bad, really bad in college, and just trying to navigate with the ball and everything is like I had a million things to think about, and I really actually didn't, but I just could not control the chair. It's incredible.
True,
Right.
and the coordination with your hands, right? In AB basketball, you just stop with your feet, and in wheelchair basketball, you have to push, you have to stop, you have to dribble, to pass, to shoot, everything with your hands. So normally you need like 4 or 5,
And then
and not only
what fascinated me was back then was I was in college, and like I said, I think we did it for like 10 minutes. And I was in college. I was like at the peak of my athletic prowess. And I think the next day my arms and my hands were hurting for like the next week. I was like devastated. Like, this is terrible.
it was the same with me when I
Um,
started playing wheelchair basketball. Yeah.
how is it the conditioning from able-bodied basketball to wheelchair basketball, what's one of the biggest differences conditioning-wise?
Conditioning-wise,
Right.
you cannot use your legs anymore, so you need much more power in your shoulder area and upper body and arms and hands. That was that I had to change that a lot. So you couldn't use your feet, your legs anymore.
Right.
Like for the shot, it's difficult to change that. But
did you get
I tried to do my best. Yes, I did. Shooting some air balls, couldn't make any free throw, or it was frustrating in the beginning, but I got it.
To get it, like where you felt really kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit comfortable now. How long do you think it took?
It was getting really, really fast for me. So maybe just a few practices, but normally a little longer.
I think if you're a passionate person, you have that drive to want to be better, and that pushes you to maybe go beyond what someone else might do, so that's I can imagine, because you started young, it was maybe a little bit easier. Do you think age had something to do with that?
Oh, I started playing wheelchair basketball when I was 25.
After your ACL.
No. When I was 25, I started playing wheelchair basketball.
Okay. So what did you do between the time when you hurt your ACL and when you started to play wheelchair basketball?
I tried to play basketball, but I couldn't practice that much because my knee was just too bad. So studied and coaching and watching basketball.
How has playing in a wheelchair changed your focus on the game itself? Or like, how do you I'm sure you have a different perspective, so you see things differently. How is it for you to navigate the wheelchair and everything? Do you have a different perspective of the game itself?
I won't say that, no. At the end, it's basketball, but we have the same rules, we have the same court, the same balls, the same basket, like everything is the same. So, but it's totally different, like playing it. You cannot go really one-on-one. You need your teammates to be successful and to make easy baskets. And one-on-one is really difficult in basketball, just passing a chair. So you need a pick and roll or something like that in wheelchair basketball more often than in AB basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought about it like
For sure.
that. But it makes sense. Do you train like special plays? I mean, just like normal basketball, just like AB basketball. Is it more difficult to set up plays as far as how you want to do things, of course, than AB ball?
You want to do different things, right? You want to get just creating mismatches, speed mismatches, height mismatches, and for sure, we have some plays we are running, and we have to look what the defense is giving us. It's the same like in
So you have to
AB basketball.
You have to read a lot and be able to navigating that chair while you're doing all of that is tough. It's tough. What role do you think sports can play in promoting inclusion and breaking down barriers for anyone, or people with disabilities especially?
A really big part. I think that's one of the most important things, sports, to do that.
Did you think, like, back when you first started, like, wow, like when you started winning titles and things, that you're like a role model for some?
At the beginning, I didn't, but I realized that.
How did you
I am.
How did you take that? Because not everyone wants to be in the spotlight or something like that. How was it for you?
I mean, at the beginning, I had my role models, my teammates. I wasn't the best in wheelchair basketball. I started playing wheelchair basketball in 2007 in January, February, and I already played the European Championship in the summer. So it was really getting fast and serious, and I was like 11th, 12th player on the roster, right? And I didn't get many minutes, but like 1-2 years later, I was one of the best players in the team. So at the beginning, I had my role models, and it changed to be a role model. It was strange, but yeah, I liked it.
Like fan mail?
I did when I was playing, but I retired like now 7 years ago. So
you're still playing.
Yeah,
you didn't retire totally.
True, I'm still playing. Yeah, I retired in 2016 after the Paralympics, and I didn't play basketball for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and then I started because a girl here living in Nuremberg had a bad accident, and she tried wheelchair basketball, and I took care of her, and I practiced with her, and then I was getting back in shape and starting playing wheelchair basketball again in Bayreuth. True, yeah.
It takes all of that. Basketball is terrible. I mean, when I stopped coaching, I also stayed away from the game for a good 4 years. I didn't watch any basketball. I didn't go to games unless like one of my former players or one of my coaching buddies was in town. Like I was totally drained from basketball because I had done it my whole life. And then slowly, when I wrote my book, it started to come back. That feeling. I don't want to play anymore. I definitely don't want to coach anymore. But still, you kind of want to be around the game and give back, or at least I do. So by you helping that girl, you gave back, and the game also brought you back as well.
Yeah. True, yeah. Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who maybe is AB? It doesn't matter if they're able-bodied or not. That maybe has had some kind of injury and would like to play wheelchair basketball. What advice would you give to someone who's gone through something like that?
Don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid sitting in a wheelchair and doing sports in a wheelchair. I was saying it's the same like riding a bike. Some people like having a bike to have some fun, and I have a chair to have some fun playing basketball. So don't be afraid sitting in a wheelchair and playing handicap sports.
One thing that I find interesting when I watch wheelchair basketball is that it's actually incredibly physical. What are typical injuries? I mean, I've seen people fall out of the chairs break, the wheel falls off. I mean, I've watched actually quite a bit in my life. And like, what are like typical injuries for a wheelchair basketball player?
Maybe something with the shoulder, because you have so much pressure on your shoulder, and you have to do your upper body. But nothing special. Just maybe some fingers, like in basketball, hands or shoulder injury.
One thing that I've always wondered about able-bodied players that play wheelchair basketball is you're not in a wheelchair all day. Someone who is not able-bodied is in that wheelchair all day. So they have a I don't want to say an advantage, but they're using that movement all the time. But you're not. Do you have to train extra your upper body and be able to kind of even the playing ground in that sense?
I would say yes, for sure. I think the others have an advantage because they're watching it, like practicing like 24 hours 7. And we don't, but I mean, we can use our upper body, or most of our upper body, to turn around to catch the ball with 2 hands above our heads. They can't do it. So in basketball, so it's back and forth, and we have an advantage. I have an advantage using the chair. We have an advantage using our upper body and doing things, reaching over. They can't do it. So
let's talk a little bit about like what a training is like for a wheelchair team. What's a typical training for you like?
It's not much different to AB basketball. It's almost like a good warm-up, doing some athletic stuff, doing some chair skills. lot of shooting, a lot of running systems. I don't know, 3-on-2, 4-on-5, creating mismatches. Yeah, it's just playing 5-on-5 at the end. It's just like a normal basketball practice.
I mean, as far as AB basketball goes, the game has become very non-specific as far as positions go. Has wheelchair basketball also changed a little bit over the last years?
For sure, because the wheelchairs are getting better every day. Like, it's the material, everything is getting better. Everybody is getting faster. It's changed a lot in the last, I would say, 15 to 20 years. It changed a lot. The chairs are getting better. So yeah, the players are getting better, and it's more for professional. And yeah, it changed a lot, and it's improving.
Chairs,
it's still improving.
A big word, because I know back when I tried to play a little bit, the chair was pretty heavy, and I know someone that plays now, and his chair seemed so light compared to that what I remembered before. Technology, of course, helps athletes, whether they're in a wheelchair or they're able-bodied. What other besides the chair, what other pieces of technology is used for your sport besides the chair? There's nothing.
I don't think
else
there's
that you
another
really
technology.
Kind of lean on.
No, I won't say that. No, I don't think about it. No.
So let's talk a little bit about the rules. I know a little bit about the rules, but maybe some people out there don't know exactly the rules for wheelchair basketball and why an able-bodied person is able to play, how many able-bodied people are allowed to play, things like that. So as far as I know it, league-wise, like in your club team, you're allowed to have on the court at one time, I think 14.5 points, right? Whereas a total of 14.5 points, whereas the severity of your disability dictates how many points each individual has, right? So a 1 would be someone who is paralyzed, but a 4.5 would be someone who is able-bodied. Is that correct? Okay. And
that's correct. Right.
What are the rules as pertaining to able-bodied players who play wheelchair basketball? How many can be on the floor, or how many can you have on the team?
So in Germany, in the club teams, in the Bundesliga, and every league, men and women are playing together. So you don't have just men on the team or women on the team. You're playing, men and women are playing together in one team. In the national team, it's separated.
Right.
Men's national team, women's national. But in club teams, you're playing together, men and women together on the court. So that's very special and unique in sports. With the classification points, so you have 14.5 points in total. And if you put 2 for 5s on the court, that's 9 points. So you have 5.5 points, 5.5 points left for 3 players. So yeah, you always have to count, and you know how or which lineups you can play. And I mean, in AB basketball, when you sub, you never sub a point guard for a big guy.
These days, yeah.
So it's maybe, but yeah. But then, yeah, in general, you know which lineups you can play. You have maybe a big lineup with 2 big guys, a fast lineup with like a lot of mid-pointers. So yeah, the 1-pointer or 1.5, 2-pointer players, they have an advantage. They're almost sitting lower. They're shorter because they have to sit lower because of their point of gravity. They don't have so much control with the upper body, so they have to sit lower. But ABs, we can move everything. We have total control over our whole body, so we can sit on the maximum height in a chair. So we are taller.
I never thought about that fact.
That's like
an interesting fact.
That's taller player, maybe the center underneath the basket, and the smaller players are the guards, point guards, shooting guards, working for the big guys.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Sometimes they shoot like once or twice a game on the basket, and just working that the big guys can get underneath the basket.
In club basketball, at least in Germany, is it true that so you've got 14.5 points, but when you play mixed, if you have a woman on the court, you get an extra 1.5 points. Is that correct? Okay. So
correct.
So that can change a whole lot of strategy.
Yes, for sure. Right. So I'm an AB player. I have 4.5 points, and in my club teams, I'm playing as a 3-pointer. Right. If you have a woman with 1.0, like high disability, she's playing as minus 0.5.
Yeah, that makes with the 1 point. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So there's a lot of tactic. There's a lot of with the lineups, a lot of thinking about the points and who's what, like you said, like a lineup, a quicker lineup. When, for example, would you use a quicker lineup? If you're maybe down?
If you maybe press the other team, playing full court press or some kind of press. If they have a slower team on the court with some big guys, they're not so good in this chair, maybe you press them that they cannot really go to their sweet spot. And or if the other team is playing a press against you and you need somebody who is, some guys, they're really fast and can push the chair and get over half court and get some maybe easy layups. Or
I have a really off the wall question now because it just popped into my head. I myself was and I still am, a pretty huge shit talker. Is there a lot of shit talking going on with the rollies?
Yes.
I really needed to know that. Sure. And is there a Michael Jordan of wheelchair basketball?
Yes, there is. His name is Pat Anderson. You can Google his name. You can watch some YouTube videos. You will be fascinated. He's one of the best players in the world. And like funny story, he played at the Landil team where I started playing wheelchair basketball, and I lost a bet against him. And I played AB basketball, or just couldn't play anymore because of my knee injury. He played in Landil at that time, and I lost a bet against him, and so I had to start playing wheelchair basketball.
So, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out because I definitely want to see that because I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. So, if anybody likes Jordan, it's me. So, I have a lot of respect for people that are the top of their game. There was another question I wanted to ask along those lines, and now I forgot it. I'm pretty forgetful, but maybe it'll come to me. What I know the rules are basically the same. The lines, the court, the three-pointer, everything like that. What is there a rule with wheelchair basketball that a normal person wouldn't realize that there is?
Yes, there is. You're not allowed to leave the court. You're not allowed to go like outside of the court at any time. Like during the game, like for inbound, yes, but not.
That's the same like in AB basketball.
But you can run outside one on the court, right? Yeah. You can run out of like baseline. Out of baseline, you can go over the baseline and go back on the court on the other side. In wheelchair basketball, you can't.
Why is that a distinct problem?
It's hard pushing 1-on-1. So if you can go wherever you want, it's pretty hard for the defender. So you can use the sideline and the baseline as a second or third defender.
Let's get a little bit into your achievements, like I spoke earlier. Out of all your achievements, you got to throw all the rest away. What's the one you keep?
The gold medal from London.
I kind of figured that. I mean, I think every athlete in the world, when they win that the Olympic gold or Paralympic gold, that's like the the cream of the crop. Take us back to that. How was the whole experience of the London Paralympics? Starting from
It was awesome.
the opening ceremonies and things like that.
I mean, it was my second Paralympics, so it wasn't like everything wasn't new to me, but it was totally different compared to the Paralympics in Beijing 2008. So opening ceremony was crazy. Queen was there, visiting us, and I don't know. Every game was special. I think we started playing against the USA, and they're a really strong opponent, and we bet them, we won the game, and then playing China, they're getting better every year, and I don't know. And then I think quarterfinals against GB team, home crowd, 15,000 people yelling for the other team, and you cannot understand any word. Yeah, and then at the end, the final against Australia, we played Australia a lot for the preparation for London, and I think they bet us every time. So yeah, we kicked their ass in the final, and
how much shit
winning gold at the end
was going on in that final?
Oh, I think a lot.
What's the I mean, I as a former player, I can remember a few times where somebody said something to me during the game, and I was like, oh, that was pretty good. What was the best shit talking moment that you experienced at the London Olympics? Paralympics.
I don't remember. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Did
No,
anybody just talk so much shit and you were like, come on, like really you want to do this now? Like, come on.
I mean, it's different. Like in the club team in the Bundesliga, there's some guys talking shit to the girls because I mean, guys cannot lose against girls. But with the girls team, they didn't talk so much shit, I would say. There was not too much trash talk. But in the Bundesliga, it was like guys playing against girls.
A male pride, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance? I mean, when you were on the national team, you're probably having to travel a lot. You have to do certain tournaments. How were you able to balance your private life and your athletic thing? Because I think that's something we all, as athletes, we all have troubles with sometimes. How were you able to deal with that?
Oh, that was tough.
Right.
I mean, you cannot earn a lot of money in wheelchair basketball in Germany, especially as a girl, as a woman. So I had to work 40 hours a week. I had to practice twice a day. So yeah, starting practicing before I was going to work, then 8 to 10 hours in the office, like in the morning weightlifting or individual practice, and in the evening team practice after you worked in the office for 8 to 10 hours, and then coming home around midnight and getting up like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning again. And as you can imagine,
Right.
there's not much time for family and friends, not much time for anything else, holidays and so on. So yeah, it was a tough time, and that was a reason why I stopped playing wheelchair basketball in 2016 to have more time for family and friends.
Did you ever have moments where I think a lot of athletes are going through mental issues or mental health issues because the sport that they play is so demanding, and you have to sacrifice quite a lot if you want to play on a high level. Did you ever have those kind of moments where you're like, you know what, before you retired, like, you know what, this is not worth it?
I didn't, because I had so much fun and had such a great family. They were supporting me from behind, and I had so great teammates and great teams playing with. So I didn't have that, but I heard about it. Yeah.
What gave you strength through all of that, as far as having to travel? You said your family probably was very supportive. Were there any times where they were like, hey, we don't see you anymore, could you please stop playing?
No, it's funny. They visited almost all my games. So when we played Europeans, Paralympics, World Championships. I traveled around the world to come to my games. And when I stopped playing, my mom said, "Oh, why didn't you stop playing now? I can't travel to the next Paralympics anymore. I don't have." Yeah, no, but they came to my games, and I'm really thankful for that they supported me
That's
whole time of
so
my career.
important. A question that just popped in my head. You already said that you don't make a whole lot of money playing wheelchair basketball. Are there imports in German Bundesliga wheelchair basketball? Really?
Yes, a lot.
And
Yes.
and like how do they scout? Like how do they because I don't remember there being many like college wheelchair basketball teams or something like that. How do they scout for foreigners?
I think from the national teams and connections, the wheelchair basketball bubble is not really big, so yeah, you have a good network when you're in there. So almost everybody knows everybody. Yeah, and then a new superstar is coming up at college basketball or in Germany somewhere. So yeah, it's a small wheelchair basketball bubble. So
Wow.
yeah, but there are many imports in Germany. So for example, like Thuringia Bulls, they were just German champion. They have some imports. RSV Landil is having some imports. Hannover United is having some imports. Wiesbaden, like almost every team is having imports in the Bundesliga, like from the Netherlands, from
Wow.
Great Britain, Japan, Canada, USA, Australia. Like
And most of those
world,
are probably national team players, the foreigners.
Yes,
Wow.
yes,
I
most of them.
never even thought about that. What are some of the key issues facing wheelchair basketball, and how do you see them being solved? You spoke about the money. For sure, there's a difference between women, how much women get paid and how much men get paid. Just like in able-bodied basketball, that's a common theme. Is that something that needs to change?
I don't think so, but I think we need some more media presence. Like when you play at the Paralympics, like you have almost every day a new interview and you have to go everywhere and talk to everybody and everybody wants to see you. But like after the Paralympics or the 3 years in between, 4 years in between, nobody really cares about you. So I think that has to change a lot.
Rules that need to be changed? It's fine how it is?
No.
Okay.
True.
How besides the technology with the wheelchair itself, how has the game evolved? Are there more people shooting threes? Are there other small changes that you've seen, that you've noticed that are because you said it's getting faster, it's getting better. What are some of the changes that you've seen?
Yeah, for sure. More people can shoot threes now consistently. I think that's a big part because, like when you're shooting threes, right, you have more space, and if you have more space on the court, like the defense has to come out to go on the shooters, and then you have more room, more space, and then you can just set better picks and have more space to roll to the basket or create some room. It's the same in AB basketball with a basketball. So if you make the court wider, it's much easier for the other guys on the court.
We're talking about threes, so you would say able-bodied person that shoots threes, a good percentage would be 40%. What do you think that is in wheelchair basketball? You think it's around the same?
Almost the same, but we don't shoot so many threes. So, like, how many threes would you shoot in an AB basketball game?
30.
Right, and then wheelchair basketball, it's maybe 5 to 10.
That's actually a lot less than I thought about. That's interesting. I would have thought that, especially for an able-bodied person, that they would be more likely to shoot a three. But I would imagine because they have more upper body movement, and can maybe possibly be stronger in that sense. But yeah, 15 15 is actually not a lot, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's not very many actually.
Yeah, but sometimes you have games that maybe like just one or two guys shooting one or two threes. So yeah, it's different. Like you can sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's just 5. So
This is interesting. When you come on the court for practice, right? What is the first thing wheelchair players do? Because able-bodied, they're grabbing the ball and they're shooting a three. Like nowadays, for sure.
In wheelchair basketball, I'm not shooting a three. Maybe a mid-range jumper or something like that.
You also train your speed. How important is that in the game?
One of the most important things, to beat your opponent, to go 5-on-4 or 4-on-3, creating space, getting some picks. That's one of the most important things. I mean, in AB basketball, right, the first step is one of the most important thing, right? In one and wheelchair basketball, it's the first one or two pushes.
Okay. Do you think that there are any misconceptions about wheelchair basketball that should be done away with? From able bodies, or it doesn't matter?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Before I was in college, I used to think that only paralyzed people or people with disabilities could play, and then I learned gradually that it wasn't like that. I would say that probably a majority of able-bodied people, it doesn't even come into their sense that able-bodied players also play. I think that's maybe a misconception that a lot of people probably have, that an able-bodied person does not play wheelchair basketball. But how, I asked a form of this question earlier, how were you able to, or you still do, able to educate people about wheelchair basketball, and how big is that in order for the game itself to grow?
I think it's really important that more people know about wheelchair basketball, that more people get involved to that sport and getting fascinated. Because if you watch a wheelchair basketball game once, I think you will come back again, like for sure. It's so fascinating. It's fast. It's like auto scooter. Everybody's saying watching wheelchair basketball the first time, like auto scooter. And but that's true. That's really true. Like the chairs crushing into each other, and it's just fun on the court. So you just have to be once in the gym, and then I think you will come and tell your family and friend that it's really, really nice sports, and you have to watch it again, and you have to see a live game. So you just have to watch a game, and then at the end you just have to try it out by yourself.
10. Wow.
10.
What cities are they mostly, or what cities can you roll off the top of your head? Because I'm not familiar where they actually play.
It's Hamburg, Hannover, Wiesbaden, Trier, Erfurt, Wetzlar. What else do we have? Cologne.
Games, you have to travel quite far.
Two. In the second division, some teams from Austria are playing also in the second division.
Outside of basketball, what are your interests? What do you do for a living? What's your job? Let's start there.
I studied sports management and I'm working in sports.
Besides basketball, so you're still working in sports, you're still around sports. What do you do to get away from sports? You were just on vacation, by the way?
Yes. No, spending time with family and friends.
Did you ever think about playing elsewhere outside of Germany, actually? Now that I know that there are foreigners or imports?
I got some
Huh?
offers, like from Greece or Italy or Spain, and
Uh-huh.
from college basketball. But yeah, I decided to
You
keep my job and
did
play
the you
basketball
did
at
the
home.
typical
And
German
then,
sensible thing.
I mean, I was
Right.
already 25 when I started playing. I was done with my university in Germany. I just had started a new job, and yeah, I
Right.
wasn't just 18 or 19, maybe going to college. I was
Okay, I got you.
already like much older.
I've got 5 phrases, or you'll see. And I want you to tell me the first thing you think about. This is the last 5 questions I have for you. Just tell me the first. I actually asked the Michael Jordan of wheelchair basketball. I already asked that one. So I've got 4. I've only got 4. Just tell me the first thing that pops in your mind. Your welcome to wheelchair basketball moment. Like that moment where you were like, okay, this is definitely different than what I'm used to. Your welcome
Sorry,
to
I
wheelchair
didn't.
basketball moment. Like the moment where you really realized this is unlike anything that I've ever done before.
My first time in a chair, playing against the best players in the world, watching them, and I was fascinated. I mean, if you watch some videos from like, especially Pat Anderson, you know what I mean.
What's the worst injury of your career playing wheelchair basketball?
My shoulder injury.
What happened? Yeah.
Sorry, what happened? Yeah, just what
Oh,
is
you
it? It was
dislocated it?
popped back and
Oh.
coming back. Yes, I
Ah.
was out almost 3 months.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got cold chills just thinking about that. Oh, was it during the game or?
It was during game. I grabbed the rebound and another guy from behind tried to get the
Ah.
ball, and I tried to
Okay,
beat the
now
ball.
that I know that, I'm going away from what I was talking about before with the 4 questions. But now that I know that you had a pretty serious injury, how was it coming back from injury, like mentally, to get yourself going again?
It was pretty easy because I missed my teammates so much, and I wanted to be back on the court as soon as possible. So I worked hard in rehab, and
Did you
it was really easy
you
coming
never
back.
thought about giving up the sport? Mhm. How old were you
No,
when that happened?
no.
Oh wow. Okay.
30,
All right.
31. It was
What,
my first
your
season,
first
my
game in
first game
Hamburg?
in Hamburg with my new team. Yes.
Wow. What is the cost of a wheelchair what's the cost of a good wheelchair for basketball? I'm gonna
What do
say
you guess?
3,000 euros at least.
Okay, that's not. Okay, you have to put more on it.
Okay, at least 6. Really?
8.
Wow.
Yes. 8 to 10
Wow.
maybe.
And who
Yes.
pays for that? Like you, I mean, wow. I mean, that's pretty expensive. All I need is a pair of sneakers.
Two, and maybe you need 2 wheelchairs, right? Because maybe it's
Oh
breaking during game. You need
man.
a second one, uh, a spare one. Yes, but
Okay.
like my chairs, sponsors paid my chairs during my career, and if you don't have any sponsor from the national team or club team, then you have to pay it by
Wow.
yourself.
That's really, I didn't expect that. That's really expensive.
It's
Wow.
like
And
a
you got to
small
have
car.
2. And you've got to probably have extra parts and things like that, right?
For
How do
sure. Yes, for
you
sure. You need that.
travel with 2 wheelchairs?
How you do travel with 2 big suitcases?
Touche. Touche. Good answer. What was the other one? This is the last one. I saved the best one for last. So, um, besides having a sneaker obsession, which far outcounts both of your sisters, how many shoes they have. A little bird told me that you play a decent accordion, and that and that
Oh, wow. Who
and
told you
that
that?
your family still makes you play the accordion before you get your presents on Christmas. Is that true?
My family is doing a lot of music, like especially my two sisters, and yeah, on Christmas we are like playing the piano. My sister's playing the guitar, the piano, and last Christmas they got me to play the accordion before. Yeah,
You always be the kid to your parents, and you have to do something before. That's a typical, for those of you that are watching in America. It's a very typical German thing that you have to kind of do something. You have to perform something. You have to sing or play an instrument or something before you can open your presents. So I know back home, no, that's not happening. Kids are just tearing up in their presents, but here it's a little bit like that. So yeah, a little bird told me that, and I'm thankful for that little bird. She might be your twin sister. She might not be your twin sister. But I'm very thankful for that information. And yeah, that's all I've got for you. You hit the shot at the buzzer for me. Thank you so much for coming on and educating not only me, but also the people out there about wheelchair basketball. And I mean, your accomplishments speak for themselves. It took me 5 minutes to list them all off. Usually my intro is like 30 seconds, and I needed 5 minutes to tell all your accomplishments. I will do my part to try to educate people on wheelchair basketball and try to, get this video out, and hopefully somebody sees it and decides that they want to invest or they want to play or whatever. I think it definitely needs a lot more media attention, and I will do my part. And I really appreciate you coming on.
thanks for inviting me and having me, and I
No
really
problem.
appreciate that.
You get on up out of here. I'm going to say goodbye to the people that are still on. Thank you again.
Thank you. I hope we'll
I
see
will
you in the
definitely
gym
try
watching a
to, now
wheelchair
that I'm not
basketball
coaching
game.
or playing anymore, I have a little bit more time, kind of. So I'll definitely try to make it. You're playing in my old city, Bayreuth, where I coached as well. So so if I come to Bayreuth, definitely got to make a game down there as well.
For sure, and then you will sit in a chair and we play some one-on-one.
That'll be really.
And I'm
Okay,
feeling
thank
good.
you so much. Bye.
Okay.
So teammates,
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
hope
Bye bye.
that was a really good interview, and I'm really glad that she was on. Just like I'm glad that all my guests are on. But I'm hoping that we can shed some light on wheelchair basketball. I love the sport. I've seen it many times, and it's like she said, if you go one time and you really look at it, you'll be back. And I'm going to definitely try to get in a game and probably in Bayreuth when I visit there sometime to see one of those games live, because it's pretty dope. Yeah, that's it for tonight. I've got a guest on tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. I have a guest coming on Thursday, and I hope those of you that are new will tune in. Do I want to give any clues to who my next guest is? Nah, I'll give a clue. My next guest is actually. Oh no, I already released it. You guys know. Usually when I do this, the name hasn't been announced yet, but actually the name has been announced. So he's actually playing in about 30 minutes, my next guest. So thank you all for joining. That's it for me. I hope everybody is healthy, your families are healthy, and hopefully I'll see you on Thursday. If not, maybe another time. Anyway, thank you again for the time that you watched, whether it was 1 minute or the whole 53 minutes that we've been on. So that's it for me. Enough running my mouth. Old head out.